You would have heard that the state of Texas enacted into law the most restrictive abortion ban in the country. On May 8, 2021, the governor of the state, Greg Abbott, signed the legislation SB 8, known as the Heartbeat Bill, into law that bans abortion at 6 weeks of gestation. This law doesn't even make exemptions for rape or incest, which is wild. This selected time frame in the gestation period is deliberate. Most women do not yet know that they are pregnant. A late period is common for most, so a 2 weeks window, assuming you have an average 28-day cycle, is very short. This narrow window was selected to essentially ban all abortions. On the surface and at its core, SB 8 directly violates Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade is the landmark case where the Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. This law is cruel on many fronts. The Heartbeat Bill was designed in such a way to insulate it from federal court intervention. Not only that, the law allows anyone, anywhere to sue people who provide or assist patients with abortion care in Texas. So, this doesn't just affect the regular healthcare providers like your doctors, nurses, or facilitators, but also includes people who facilitate transportation of patients to these facilities. So think your Uber, your Lyft, your regular taxi drivers, or just a family member who may be assisting you to this procedure. This law empowers citizens to become enforcers of the law instead of the government. It has been dubbed Sue Thy Neighbor Bill by abortion advocates. And you know what I find to be the most ridiculous part of this bill? People can win judgments of $10,000 or more per lawsuit. In other words, ordinary citizens will be paid to snitch. Let me provide you with some additional context to show how egregious this law is. According to a survey from the NFSG, which is a national survey of family growth, there were 72.7 million women of reproductive age nationwide in 2018. In Texas alone, there are over 7 million women of reproductive age, which demonstrates that Roe v. Wade is basically meaningless for 1 in every 10 women of reproductive age. Texas is that big. Additionally, women in Texas needing an abortion would have to travel to states like Louisiana and Oklahoma that already have hostile abortion policies. In Louisiana, for example, abortion would be banned if Roe v. Wade was overturned. Furthermore, health plans offered under ACA cannot provide coverage for abortion services. Texans in need of an abortion out of state will have their travel distance increase from an average 12 miles to a whopping 248 miles, almost 20 times the normal distance. Look at this. The cost of multiple trips, hotel accommodations, gas, and other logistical expenses have not yet been considered. This undue burden to get a safe and effective procedure will be very costly to people who can't afford it, which unfortunately are disproportionately Black and brown women. Since the passage of Roe v. Wade, over 1,300 anti-abortion laws have been introduced in almost all 50 states, with approximately half of them introduced after 2011. Since the beginning of this year, 70 have been enacted, which equals the number introduced in 1973 when the landmark legislation was first passed. According to the governor of Texas, The reason for this bill is to ensure that the life of every unborn child who has a heartbeat would be saved from the ravages of abortion.
Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. In Texas, we work to save those lives. And that's exactly what the Texas legislature did this session.
The problem with that statement, however, is that embryos don't have a heartbeat at that stage in the development process. No heart, no beat. This guise of morality doesn't hold up for a myriad of reasons. Firstly, the states that are the most hostile to abortion have the worst health outcomes for children and mothers. Louisiana, for example, ranks 47th out of 48 states on maternal mortality and has the 5th highest infant mortality rates in the nation. Secondly, women who need abortion services the most tend to already live below the federal poverty line. So, who exactly are they protecting with these bans? Surely it can't be mothers and children. So who then? By now you may be asking yourself, what can we do to protect people with uteruses? This may sound very controversial, but it's indeed factual. Pregnancies are caused by men. We should shift our focus to target them by mandating vasectomies, which are reversible by the way, until they are ready to have children. It's that easy. Not only that, it's one of the top 5 most effective contraceptive methods. Look at it this way. A man can cause pregnancy every single day of the year. A woman, on the other hand, can only get pregnant an average 2 to 6 days per month depending on her menstrual cycle. Can you now see why men are needed in this relentless abortion fight? Too many men are silent, and eerily silent, because they have benefited tremendously from the right to choose when to be a parent. Why shouldn't women be afforded that same choice?